One summer afternoon, shortly after the first edition of this book was published, I answered my office phone to hear a man's booming voice announce, "You don't know me, but I'm Ben." He laughed, and I laughed along with him because I knew exactly what he was referring to. Ben, the main character in this book, is a composite I created based on real-life clients I have coached over the past 30 years. This caller had identified with Ben's situation so thoroughly that he was convinced I could also help him and his organization get the results they needed. Ben has become almost legendary for many of my readers and listeners. In the story, a business fable through which readers and listeners experience the practical power of question thinking, QT, Ben is floundering in his new leadership position. He's also having trouble at home. His relationship with Grace, his wife of less than a year, is growing increasingly tense. When we first meet him, Ben is one unhappy guy. With the help of his coach and mentor, Joseph S. Edwards, he not only advances in his professional life, but also deepens his bond with his wife. Since that first telephone call from a Ben, I've received many similar messages from both men and women from a wide variety of backgrounds. One reader, David, wrote that, like Ben, he'd been in trouble at work, especially with keeping his team fully engaged. Reading the book not only changed the questions he asked himself, but his new leadership style encouraged greater collaboration and productivity. He was ultimately so successful that his results were included in an article in Inc. magazine. The world has changed dramatically since the last edition of Change Your Questions, making question thinking skills more crucial than ever for dealing with the rising social, economic, health, and environmental challenges confronting us. Through the internet and other digital media, we are bombarded by wide-ranging opinions and widely varying sources of information. Without an ability to question and critically evaluate what we take in, the cumulative impact of these experiences fuels our anxiety, uncertainty, discord, and effectiveness as leaders and as human beings. QT skills support our ability to navigate these rough waters with resilience, adaptability, thoughtfulness, and hope. Question thinking, the heart of this audiobook, provides easy-to-learn skills for observing and evaluating our present thinking, especially the questions we're asking ourselves, and guides us in designing new questions for achieving more fulfilling experiences and results. QT is about thinking mindfully rather than reactively. It leads to more productive outcomes, even under pressure, while building reliable capacities for constructive thought, so vital for sustainable change in our professional as well as personal lives. Without these skills, even our greatest aspirations may remain only wishes and dreams. Question thinking began with an important moment of discovery in my own life. I was a determined young graduate student working away on my PhD dissertation. Not only did I endure a ruthless inner critic, but criticisms from others often left me in tears. One fateful day, expecting high praise from my advisor for some work I felt great about, I instead heard him say, "Marilee, this is just not acceptable." At that moment, something new happened. I started going to that old place of tearfully wondering what was wrong with me. But then I began observing myself and watching not only what I was thinking, but how I was thinking. I observed that all the negativity that made me so unhappy was in the form of questions I was asking myself. They were questions like, what's wrong with me? Why can't I ever get anything right? What makes me think I have anything to offer? How come everybody else is so much smarter and more successful than me? Anyone who's spent much time trying to answer questions like these will recognize how stuck and frustrating this can be.